Chapter 1. Dreams Take Flight. The wind howled through the open door of the small hangar, carrying with it the scented jet fuel and salt from the distant Atlantic. Inside, the dim glow of a single bulb flickered over a jumble of parachutes, harnesses, and a strange wingsuit that lay spread across, a workbench like the discarded skin of some mythical creature. Carlos Ribeiro adjusted the straps, his fingers tracing the seams with the precision of a man who had spent years defying gravity. Outside, the sounds of Rio de Janeiro pulsed distant samba rhythms, the laughter of street vendors, the of a city that never slept. But in this quiet corner of the world, Carlos was alone with his obsession. It had started as a whisper, a thought that refused to leave him. What if he could fly, not just fall, but truly fly? The idea had taken root in his mind during his first skydive, when the rush of freefall had felt like freedom itself. But freedom wasn't enough. He wanted more. He wanted to carve the sky like a dancer, to turn the air into a stage. The 1970s were a time of rebellion, of pushing boundaries. In Brazil, the military dictatorship cast a long shadow, but in the open sky there were no rules. Carlos had spent years jumping from planes, mastering the art of the parachute, but the limitations of the sport gnawed at him. The suit he was working on now was his answer, a patchwork of fabric and daring, a prototype that no one else in Latin America had even attempted. He pulled the suit over his shoulders, the fabric tied against his chest and back. The wings' long, tapered panels of nylon extended from his arms like the wings of a bird. He had studied the designs of early wingsuit pioneers in Europe, but their suits were bulky, cumbersome. His would be different, lighter, faster. The first test would be from a low altitude, just to see if the thing held together. He stepped outside, the warm Brazilian air wrapping around him as he climbed into the small plane. The pilot, an old friend who had seen Carl's wildest stunts before, gave him a skeptical look. "You sure about this, Carlos?" Carlos grinned. Only one way to find out. The plane roared to life, and as they ascended, the city of Rio stretched out below, a patchwork of beaches, favelas, and towering mountains. The wind rushed past the open door, and for a moment Carlos felt the familiar thrill of anticipation. Then he stepped out. The freefall was different this time. The wind no longer just pushed against him, it lifted him. The wingsuit caught the air, and suddenly he wasn't just falling. He was gliding. His heart pounded as he adjusted his body, tilting his arms to turn. The ground rushed up faster than he expected, but he managed to pull his parachute at the last second, landing hard but intact. His legs trembled as he unbuckled the harness, but his mind was already racing. It had worked. It had actually worked. Word spread quickly. In the tight-knit world of Brazilian skydivers, Carl's experiment was either genius or madness. Some laughed, calling it a death wish. Others watched in awe as he refined his design, adding more wings, adjusting the angles, pushing the limits of what was possible. Each jump was a lesson, each landing a victory. But the real test would come at the next big competition, a national skydiving event where the best in the country would gather. Carlos knew he would be the outsider, the one with the strange suit and the reckless dreams. But he also knew that if he could pull it off, he would change everything. As he stood on the tarmac the morning of the event, the sun rising over the mountains, he felt the weight of the moment. The wind carried the distant sounds of the city waking up, the faint echo of a radio playing samba from a nearby stall. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. The sky was waiting, and this time he wouldn't just fall, he would fly.